We're here today going over the PC1030. We're going to turn around and do a brief description, overlay pretty much of how the machine works, what functions are on the pump and all the components you need to turn around and operate the pump. On the pump itself, obviously we have the unit itself, the PC1030, which has got a 55 litre bucket to hold material. In the componentry that we use for it, we have a 10 amp to 15 amp adapter. We also have some cleaning balls, some nozzles and some drill components. We have the stator. And the stator holder. We also have the automatic lance and then the 10 metre hose. The PC1030 is a very simple machine to use. Very low on componentry, very minimal in functions. So it has on it a on-off switch, a power stop switch or protection switch. Tells you that the power's on a green light. And if an error comes up, it tells you an error and what the code is to turn around and function it and turn around and get it reset. On the pump itself for a running procedure, you have a automatic function, you have a forward position, and you also have a reverse position. We also have a speed controller which controls the speed of the pump, and you can turn around, obviously get more flow, more output through the pump. We're going to do a quick startup procedure now for the PC1030, and it's really important when you turn around and do this to turn around and have two people. You need one person to operate at the pump itself to put it in reverse so you can put the stator on into the rotor. It has a keyway. It also has a little bit more tapered end at one end. That's to go towards the front of the pump, or into the back of the pump there. When you do that, what's really important as well is to turn around and run some dishwashing liquid, and that for lubrication. Once you've lubricated the stator and the rotor, you can then turn around and place the keyway in position and turn it onto reverse. That'll slide the stator and the rotor together and put it into position. When it seats, you can stop. Once it stops, you're all clear to then turn around and put the retaining piece on, which just goes on like that, and then your retaining nuts. You can turn it off now. Make sure these components are tight. Then you're ready to turn around and clamp your hose on and get going with product. Connecting the hose is pretty simple. We have cam locks that all just turn around and clip in. So just push it in like that, clamp your cam locks in, and then your electrical cable for the automatic lance goes round into the back of the machine behind the hopper in the first plug position. There's two positions there. Put it in the first one. It has a locator for the pin, so you can't put it in the wrong way. You also have a airline connection that you've got to plug into a compressor. Some places might have a airline separate. You might take your own compressor and set that up. We recommend generally around a 14, 15, 16 cubic foot compressor. Something with a big tank so you've got air consumption. Plug that in and then you can adjust your air pressure to suit at the lance. Okay, we've got the PC1030 automatic lance. This is the one that comes with the unit. It has obviously a function where you turn it on and off, and it turns on and off at the pump. Now, when you turn it off, one of the key features of this product is it turns around and puts the pump in reverse, so it takes pressure away from the hose, leaving less waste on your site. So it's a really good feature to have. We also have a little toolbox which is put together with some 19mm cleaning balls, a drill bit, and also some tips to suit. You can cater your tips for whatever your application is, and that'll get you through the job. Really important, those cleaning balls, and that I'll go through that a little bit later in the procedure. Quick breakdown of the automatic lance. We're not going to go too far into detail, just very basics. So on the lance itself, you have the tip holder here. You have the actual lance tube, which you can pull off as well, just by undoing that. It's important to do this and that because you can turn around and obviously check, do a visual inspection on whether all the holes are clean. And also, it's just a good habit to get into, and that you know that your unit's going to be working well next time you go to use it. There's not much more to it than that. If you get past that, you really should be taking it to a service centre. If you're turning around, doing the maintenance, putting it back together, what I suggest is you have some separation oil, some DWD, or some lubriplate, grease. No, we like lubriplate. And then when you put it back together, just turn around, some seals just in here. Doesn't hurt to turn around and put a bit of lubriplate on those. It'll go back in much easier. It's a good habit to turn around and get into a little bit of lubriplate on the actual threads as well. That way, when render gets on there, if it's got grease on it, it'll come off really easy. Now, if it hasn't got grease on it, you're going to find it a hard time to get apart. So it just goes back in, pushes back in. It'll go into the air connection there, pretty easy. That's clipped in now. And then you just turn around and screw that on. And with the grease on there, or the lubriplate on there, it works really, really well. Same thing goes on the actual retainer for the nozzles. If you put a little bit of lubriplate on there, again, easy to clean. And easier for you to turn around and maintain as well. Goes on nicely, makes it simple. The tip, they come in different sizes, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right up to sort of 16. And that just gets placed either in the cap like that, or you can put it in the head of the gun like that, hold it up. If you hold it down, it'll fall out. So if you put it up like that, then turn around and put your retaining cap on, you're ready to go again. It's all pretty straightforward. Another little key accessory for the PC1030 lance is this little drill bit. It's very handy in that because you will get render into the head of the gun, and in behind the retaining cap and the tip are some holes. So those holes go into the tip and we can clean those out. We can also clean out in here. There's 4 holes in here. If they're blocked, your atomization isn't going to be as good and you're not going to get a good spread over your substrate. So it's important that these are clear. Another area for attention is in behind the actual trigger or the lance itself. In behind here, if you can turn around and get a little bit of DWD or separation oil, whichever you prefer, and just give it a bit of a squeeze in there, that'll help a lot in keeping the actual lance free and not getting stiff. It will get stiff if you're running render through it all day long or texture. The other area for concern is in the actual gun itself. If you turn around, put a bit of oil down there and then give it a few on-offs, again, that'll lubricate the ball and the seat in behind the lance. Makes your job easier, keeps the lance fresh. I'm going to put through the cleaning ball now. That, all you do is you turn around and take the cam locks off the hose. And once you've turned around, obviously put water in the system. Put the ball in there, you can see there's still quite a bit of product there. That'll still push all the product out, the excess product that's sitting in the hose. Put it back on, and then just feed that straight through. Take the cap off and the nozzle off, obviously it's not going to go through that. Turn it on. So that's a basic setup and cleaning procedure on the actual PC1030. I hope you get the most out of that. It'll turn around and basically make your job easier at the end of the day, and if you've got any questions, by all means call our customer service team, and when all else fails, go back to your product data manual.